Beauty is not limited to our outside appearance. It's inside us. It's our professional lives and our personal passions. It's in our health and wellness, our families, friends, and loved ones. Ask Us Beauty Magazine is content designed to educate, empower, and inspire individuals on all things beauty and wellness. We do this by bringing together people of all backgrounds to share their stories, leaving you with inspiration for living your best life. Whether it's through products, services, procedures, and personal brands, we challenge the status quo. Our mission is to change the narrative, allowing each and every one of us to define beauty on our own terms. Visit us today at askusbeautymagazine.com.
Welcome to the Silhouettes of Success podcast with your host, successful entrepreneur, broker, and business mentor, Amber Weitzer. Because success comes in all shapes, sizes, and styles, the Silhouettes of Success podcast is shining the light on industrious women with a collection of curated conversations of intentional inspiration designed to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, feed your soul, and gift you with actionable insights directly from inspirational, everyday women who've shown tenacity, grit, and grace, having taken on the challenges in their lives and business and won. Remarkable, down-to-earth, and relatable, Amber and her guests will share with you uplifting and extraordinary real-life success stories, motivational ideas that just might help spark something within you. With the deepest desire to serve you, help you grow so you can begin to shine the light that will illuminate your very own silhouette of success. So, let's get to it.
Hello and welcome to the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success. Our VIP featured guest is the founder of InOurArms.blog, a disability advocate, speaker, vocal coach, mom, and wife of a physician in San Antonio, Texas. She currently sits on the board of the new Multi-Assistance Center at Morgan's Wonderland. She served on the board of Any Baby Can of San Antonio for 8 years as well, and was honored last August with their Angel Advocate Award. Currently, she's working on a major golf classic fundraiser to benefit children with disabilities coming in April. With Amazon as a headlining sponsor and the NFL Alumni Association, drumroll, audience, listen up today because Silhouettes, she is going to share with us more details on all of that greatness and how you can probably participate because I'm sure she's got some spots left open and she'll tell us more about that. Silhouettes, let's welcome Juli Henderson to the show. Hello, Juli. How are you?
Hello, Emma. I'm doing very well. Thank you. What a flowery introduction. I feel very impressed with all those details. It doesn't sound like me, but I'm just going to say thank you.
Too humble, but that's okay because we're going to this is all about you today and what you're doing and all of the great things. So I am completely humbled and honored that you are here with us because just you and the work that you're doing and your journey is just a beautiful story. So let's get into it. How's that sound?
That sounds great.
Great. So again, as you start to share a little bit about your silhouette of success with us, let's just go ahead and start with you sharing maybe the early shapings by talking a little bit about your background with the audience.
Great. So I am by trade, you said, a voice teacher. I have a private voice studio called JH Voice Studio. Been teaching close to 27 years. And I started teaching voice when our kids were little. And then as we had all 5 of our children, it got involved. And then obviously with our youngest son, Robert, who had a very rare seizure disorder, I was looking for a way to sometimes encourage myself, but also find help and support for me and for Robert and for our family as we were caring for him at home for those 18 years. And I honestly couldn't find anything. I searched, and back then it was, I couldn't find the raw information that I needed to get me through the day, knowing that Robert's condition was very rare and that he would probably not live long So that was my journey in the beginning. Like, where are the books? Where's the blog? Where's the information I need about the really hard stuff with a child that has a really complex medical condition, but also was rare within that condition. So it was a couple years ago, 2 years ago, that I decided after Robert passed in 2015 that if I couldn't find something for myself to encourage myself and also give me support during those times. There were probably other families, other moms that didn't also have the support that they needed or community they could, share openly with. And so I decided to start the In Our Arms blog then. And my goal was I want to reach as many families as possible to first encourage them that they were not alone, and then also to add support in a network of community of families. And then honestly, out of that has come a more passionate drive to do more work in that disability community to raise money and support the agencies in our local community that now are touching the world.
We talk a lot in this podcast about passing the light forward to help and support, each other and other women and all of those things in all the different roles that we have. But what a guiding light for you to have gone through the journey and then reflect and then turn around and share and create something that you clearly saw a void in.
Mm. Well, I did it scared. That very
Hmm.
common favorite phrase of a lot of entrepreneurs is, okay, just
Yeah.
do it. And I didn't know really if it was going to be successful, if, people really needed what I needed. And what I found is that there are so many families that really need raw conversations. They need to know, the details of how we got, equipment, or what doctor do we recommend, or what dentist works, and all of those details, but also just somewhere to be transparent and be vulnerable and say, hey, I need help today, or I'm not doing well this year. Those kind of conversations I really um, I'm passionate about having with other families, because that's where I think the support comes, one on one and speaking with other families. So I love to do that, because I've walked it and I know what a tremendous help it was in my own life when I did find people around me, girlfriends and people at our church or people in the community that I could really um, be honest with.
I'm taking, I start taking my notes because I always want to try to hit it in the moment and
Mm,
expand or, but just you just mentioned even the equipment, where do you get this or the dent? I mean, just those daily things that I think when we're in this big sphere and you're planning and you're doing all these things, but sometimes it's just just that and it just changes the whole trajectory for your life and it's like this
yes.
big burden lifted, but you're right, without the behind the curtains type of resources. Wow. You
Yes.
stopped me in my tracks on hearing on hearing that.
Yes, and I think that you hit on something very really very important, because I think we miss that when for instance, Robert, could walk early on to school or on the bus. He could walk around his school hallways, and then eventually he was in a wheelchair, and then eventually he was homebound for school. And I still had the other kids that were growing up. They're all very successful adults now, but back then, I'm trying to manage four other kids in addition to my one precious, very special Robert at home. And so I still needed to do the doctor, the dentist, the school arts, the shopping, and all the equipment things that he needed, all the medical care he needed. All those things were still happening for him while I was having the joy of my life of raising our other children. So there's no complaint in that for me, because I love the fact that I was given Robert in our arms, in our family. And we say in our arms because he was placed in our family very specifically. He's the youngest of the five, but he's also the twin of our Victoria. And we know that we were blessed with him for those 18 years. And when he passed, we knew as a family that we could do more to help other families. So, yes, all the things that I've learned because of Robert, I feel like it's then my job to help the next family.
cherished in just hearing the story, and we'll talk more about that here as you share about your business and your reach and the other things that you're doing in the community here. Let's talk, and I want to go back to something you shared at the very beginning when you were sharing portions of your background. Um, Vocal coach.
Yes.
No pressure, no pressure for me now I'm sweating.
You sure you don't want to sing
I'm
a
just
song,
a
Amber? Come
rookie.
on. Do you
Wish I
enjoy
would.
music?
I love music.
Great,
Yes,
great.
yes.
Well,
Okay. Well, good to know. Good to know. Okay. Ay, ay, ay.
we can
Oh,
break out into song and it could be really fun. Yeah,
yes.
no,
All right. We might need to do that. Distract, distract.
no, no. I mean, I love. I have a large studio that I feel very honored that I get to teach voice,
Yes.
and my students are just incredible people in my life. I tell them when they join our studio, you have now become family because
Ah,
I don't want to do anything that doesn't feel like family to me when I'm teaching.
mm,
And so I'm just always blessed when a new student comes. We're pretty packed right now. We have about 60 students in a waiting list. And I feel,
wow.
very honored that people still count that as valuable because obviously I do. But I think it's a wonderful thing when people trust you with their voice. And so I am privileged to do that. Yeah. So anytime you want to start singing on the interview, go ahead.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll just keep doing this, and then we'll work our way up to that. All right, let's talk about you've got so many wonderful roles, speaker, advocate, vocal coach, all these great things that you're doing. Um, the alarm clock goes off, your business or work day begins. You've mentioned that the children are now more or less independent. So what
Yes.
does a day in the life look like for you? Do you appreciate structure with routine? Are you more of a free spirit? Talk to us a little bit about that.
I am not a firstborn, but I act like a firstborn sometimes. I like structure, I like plans, I like spreadsheets, so I like a plan. So my morning, really recently in the last year, has become a Peloton morning where it doesn't matter if I get 10 minutes on the Peloton treadmill or I get 30 minutes or 40 minutes. I'm trying to stay on track with that. It doesn't always work in my schedule, but the morning for me, and that really is my quiet time where I get to meditate and just set the day out. I'm a person of faith, so I like to pray and meditate while I'm doing the treadmill. But I also then have kind of blocked out time, and I didn't do this obviously when the kids were growing up in the house. It's like whatever they needed, that's what we did. But now that I have more time, it's next I try to eat in more healthy way. So making sure I'm eating rather than forgetting to eat. So I'll do that, and then I blocked out the morning for time to actually think about the families I want to serve, write about them in the blog, consider, how I'm structuring some other writing. So that's the morning, and then I have a little break in the afternoon, and then I start teaching normally about 3 or 4. And so the evening is reserved for my students until my husband comes home, and then it varies on some days, as everybody's life will vary day to day. But that's the kind of structure I keep. I want mornings to be about the advocacy work I want to do and am doing currently, and then dreaming about that. I want time to dream, and then
Mm.
the evenings I try to devote my full time to my students. So I have a full day, but I take each day as just a blessing that I get to do the things I love to do. And that's advocacy work in the disability space and then teaching.
Mm. All of that magic that you are
Mm.
doing for others and for your family and yourself, and what positive adjustments maybe could you share as best practices that work for you that maybe you've made in your life or environment to help support all of these blessings that you're able to dream up and gift everybody in the community? Do you have anything that you could pinpoint?
I can. With the blog, and that's my primary reason for doing what I'm doing right now is to write and encourage and then gather a community of families and advocates. In the beginning, I did not know how to write a blog. I was very sure that I'm not a writer until we started writing, and my husband Chris also writes for the blog. I got some advice from some people and hired a team of to join us to actually help me with the blog. I would rather write rather than worrying about the social media reach and all of that. So I have a wonderful team in a company called Hit PR, and I just love them because they care about what I do, not just about the analytics. And that is very meaningful to me that I can share openly about what we're doing because it, it's not um, it's not something that can be done without some passion and some feeling because it can be hard work to reach out to families and talk about really hard things, to talk about the death of a child, to talk about the family dynamics and how hard it is on a family. So I've got a team around me that really cares. I've been very open with my close girlfriends about what I'm doing, and at first I thought, no, I don't want to involve them, but I realized later that I need their support, I need their encouragement. Even though they're not directly involved with the blog, when we have special events, they always volunteer with me. So I've learned to be a little bit more vulnerable with the close people around me and ask for, hey, I need some help this day. Can you come over here and help me stuff a bag or something? So those things have been really important. Getting experts around me to handle some of the business side of it, but also having close friendships close to me that I can be vulnerable with when it's a bad day. I still am in the process, even 8 years later after Robert's passing, of mourning. And I think that goes on. And as long as I live, there will be days that I think about him more than other days. And those can be hard days. So you need some girlfriends. Always say you need some girlfriends. And then you need some professionals around you to help you with your goals.
It's just the elixir that you've just shared as I'm writing down all the and that was the next question that I was going to ask you. So, as an advocate for so many, where do you find support? So,
Yes.
you have your fortress. You just have such a dynamic team. Hit PR. So that's been on the radar lately. So we'll make sure always and include their resource and contact information here at the end in the show notes. But just the value of having trusted confidants.
Hmm. Yes. I
I
agree.
was going to ask you, yeah, about that being vulnerable to ask for help. Does that come
Yes.
easy for you, or is that something you worked on?
I had to work on it, Amber. I really don't like asking for help. It is, I know there are probably people listening that will say, well, why don't you like asking for help? Because I don't like to put that pressure on someone else to be a part of something I'm doing if I think I can do it myself. The problem is when you get into doing something and you realize I can't do it by myself. I do need some help. I need to be
Hmm.
vulnerable enough to ask. I want to add one other thing too in my daily routine. It's not every single day, but I try to do it every day that I light a candle in our home because I just love candles. We have a breathe candle that we offer through the blog or to support what we're doing. But for me personally, I just love candles. So I try to light a candle every day and I will take that as just, even if it's 10 minutes, I'm going to smell that candle and that's going to be 10 minutes, just me time to also reflect on the gift of Robert. And I know some moms that also do the same. They take a time, even if it's during the week, to light a candle and think about the child they've lost and the joy of having that child in their life. So it's me time, but also a time of gratitude. So I try to make sure I do that. If it's not daily, that during the week, I'm grateful for having the privilege of raising Robert. So just another tidbit.
That is a beautiful segue into. I'm going to kind of jump around a little bit here, but that's such a great segue into allowing you this extra space to share more about your blog in our arms.blog. The inspiration, of course, you're sharing with us about Robert. But I also want you to share some notable milestones that you've seen and that you've accomplished, and maybe some fun things that you've reached with the success of helping others. And I want to let the audience know I was exploring and I signed up for your, to be on your list, your
Oh,
mailing
yes.
list. Yes.
Yes.
And
Thank
I
you.
did, yes, no, thank you. I saw the beautiful candle that you offer. And so I'm going to have you start with that first, because again, it's such a beautiful segue. I noticed there were two options with that stunning candle. Can you share with the audience when they go to your website, what they can expect with those two options?
Yes. Yes. So we offer the candle for sale. It's a company out of New Jersey, a sweet friend, Tiffany Rose. She and her husband and her family started the candle company called School Sense. And actually, it's Tiffany and her daughter, Marley. Everything becomes a family affair, though, when you start a business. So I reached out to her and said, I want to have a candle because I love candles so much and I know that they're meaningful in our home, and could you make a scent for us, for our blog? And so it started out being something that we worked on together. She created this beautiful fragrance, and it's just a relaxing fragrance that won't interfere with any other fragrance, and that's what I wanted. So we offer on the blog. You can purchase the candle for yourself. You can purchase them for gifts. I've had people purchase them to give away at Christmas, to give, if you're a realtor and you want to put it in a home, when you sell a home, you offer that candle as a gift. But you can also pay for a candle on the website and put in there that it is a donated candle. And then there's no shipping charge for that. And then I take that out of the inventory and I offer it to families with special needs children or young adults. And so you can buy one for yourself or you can also donate one. And then those candles are given out when I go speak or if I do a conference or I go do a retreat. I offer those candles to the moms there at no charge, or the ones that have special needs children. So again, it's my way of giving back in a tangible way, and it turned out to be something that people really love. And so throughout the year, we'll go ahead and change the candle up a little bit. So right now, there's a beautiful blue candle on there that seems to be very appealing to a lot of the blog readers. So yes, so that's what we can do. And I want to get into what you were talking about, the milestones. Again, when I started, I told you I really didn't know how it was going to go, Amber. I just knew I wanted to give back in a big way, and I didn't want it to be something that someone else was doing. So over the years, we've done that. We've had a room refresh. We hope to do that annually, where we picked a family and a very dear friend of ours, Heidi Lentz, who is a high-end decorator, but she offered to do the decor in the room and the makeover for us as a gift to donate to the family. So we've done that before and after reveal. I had the chance also to just go and speak about the journey of caring for a child with special needs. And I know those words are interchangeable now, special needs and people with disabilities. So I use them both. But I find that sometimes just having someone come speak about the real journey and the mountains, the valleys, the heartache, the disappointments, the joys, helps other people, even if they don't have someone in their family that has a disability, they learn to communicate better with families that do, or a relative that has a disability, or a community member. It helps them, I think, get through the awkward questions and get to the heart of who is the person? How can I give to this person in a meaningful way in a conversation? And in my mind, everybody should be included. And I know that's not always the case, but I think if we start having those conversations with families who have been through caregiving, we start to learn how we should treat each other, how I can go in the community, I can advocate because I actually know, something about the caregiving journey. And I think that opens up a lot of opportunities then for us to do more. I mean, I'm always looking to do more. I told you I like a 5-year plan. So my goal is always, what can I do more for someone who's walking where I've walked? So the milestones have been that, and the 2 years that we've been doing the blog, we've had great response, and really it's humbling. I keep using that word because it is humbling. I'm a mom who had the privilege of raising Robert, and so now I get to go help other people. That to me is a privilege. I don't take it for granted. I don't want to do anything that would harm those families. I just want to support them. So that's a long-winded answer and a feedback to what you were
No,
getting to. I hope I got to what you were
it
thinking.
is. Oh my gosh, no, that is not long-winded. That is, it's no. Goodness gracious. Talk to me about and share with the audience the significance. I see love notes on your website and different pens on social media.
Mm.
What is that about?
Yes. Well, this year we took the month of February and we went ahead and each week on the blog, I did a love letter, which is something that doesn't cost anything more than a stamp. And I wrote to my parents, and I wrote to my husband, and I wrote to my kids, and then I wrote to my girlfriends. So those 4 weeks were about me pouring back into the lives who have supported me and saying, thank you. This is a journey we've done together, and I love you for it. And so those 4 letters were significant to me because I wanted to put pen to paper to actually say out loud, thank you, and then encourage the readers of the blog to do the same. It really costs you nothing to write someone a note or write someone a letter. And so I wanted to encourage everybody during the love month of February to do that for your loved ones in your life. So, yeah, that was really impactful for me to sit down and actually put the pen to paper and say it out loud. Yeah, so that was really fun.
Excellent.
Yeah,
It looked fun. It looked
it
fun.
was.
Yeah, living in gratitude. It doesn't get any better than that.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, this may be a two-part question. And again, you've shared so much of the journey. Was there ever a specific point in time, event, or key situation in your professional life that did force you to take a monumental shift in your plan or business, positive
Yes.
or painful? Yes. How did that
Yes.
help going through that help you grow? And we've heard quite a bit.
Yes. Well, because
Yeah.
Robert's condition, his mitochondrial disease, was progressive, we didn't know in the
Mhm.
beginning exactly what he had. We just thought it was a very rare seizure disorder until he was diagnosed. But as he was in elementary school, and I paused for a minute because I wanted to make sure I take a moment just to remember that period. He was having a lot of really big seizures, generalized seizures, what we call them now, or um, I'll just say lots of seizures. So I don't need to get into the specifics of what type they were, just all types of seizures. And he was admitted into the ICU, pediatric ICU. And within a few hours, I had to quit teaching and resign. And at that point, I was teaching at a conservatory and I loved what I was doing. And I asked the administrator of the conservatory, would you please call my students and tell them that I need to resign immediately, effective today? And that was a shift because I realized that Robert was not getting better. And my job at that point for those several years was going to be caring for him. And at that point, he was so critical, I thought we would lose him within, those couple years. Thankfully, we had him until he was 18. But, at any point, we were always aware that he could pass away. So that was something that taught me to value his life, but to value also the opportunity that I have to teach. I teach now from our home because when Robert was older, I was able to start teaching again. And I could do it from my home because with his nursing care and his therapist coming to the house, I had someone to help me watch Robert while I was teaching. So I was able to do that again several years later. But in that shift and that pivot from I'm resigning and having to quit what I'm doing today, I learned to appreciate each day and that
Mm.
appreciate each day that Robert was a part of my life and I got to care for him. And also when I was able to teach again, I don't take that for granted. I mean, I know teaching voice to anybody is an extracurricular in most people's lives. It's an extra thing that they get to do, and I get to be a part of that. So I don't take that for granted. But that shift in that moment, I think, changed me in a lot of ways that I don't even recognize yet. I know daily I'm asking for wisdom to know how can I do things better, but I'm also realizing how far I've come in
Mm.
my growth and learning about who I am as a mom, as a wife, as I was a caregiver and as an advocate. I don't know everything. I'm trying to learn something new every day. But it is that was a real shift in my perspective on life, that life may be short. So don't waste the day.
Appreciate. Oh, goodness. Oh, my goodness.
Mhm.
Such wisdom, wise counsel, in yes, in what you say. My lady, I am looking at our clock, and do you have a few more minutes? Like just a couple? I want
Absolutely.
to. Okay, I
Yes.
want to, before we go, mention one more time to our audience and let them have the information. I'm going to let you share so we can help promote and do what we can, passing the light forward as you are in a literal sense doing. And that's what we advocate for, is passing the light forward. You have a wonderful event that we mentioned, the Golf Classic, supporting
Yes.
Morgan's Inclusion Initiative and the NFL's Alumni Association's Caring for Kids. We're
Yes.
going to include that. I know you have mentioned perhaps some sponsorship opportunities still available. I want to give
Yes.
you the floor here for a second and talk to us about this Golf Classic event and how we can participate.
Great. Thank you, Amber. We're so excited. The host for the event is Luxury Home Magazine. Dear friends, Christina and Tomas Martinez are hosting. And it is going to be the first of many, I believe, golf tournaments that benefit charities and those that support people with disabilities. So we are having it on April 24th at TPC San Antonio. There are some sponsorships available. You can go to superbowlofgolf.com. You can donate if you're not a golfer and you would like to go ahead and donate, or you can also sponsor a team. There are limited teams available at this point, but if you go onto the website, you can see what's available. We are always looking for people that love what we can do in the community in the space of disabilities. So as we were going forward months into it, actually a few weeks into it, Amazon heard about the event. And so our title sponsor, we're so grateful for, is Amazon. And as you mentioned, the benefit, the net benefit will go to Morgan's Inclusion Initiative and then to the NFLA's Caring for Kids. We could not be more excited about it. It's a qualifying event for the NFLA's National Super Bowl of Golf. And so our winner from our golf tournament on April 24th will go to the national event. And whoever wins that event is going to be, pretty blessed with some really cool gifts that winner. I won't go into all that, but it is pretty amazing that someone from our tournament is going to go to the national event. So if anyone is interested, please go to superbowlofgolf.com. We also have information on the website for my website, in our arms.blog. And if you would have any questions, just send it to me. My email is Juli at inourarms.blog. Pretty simple to get to me. And we'd love to have your support in any way, sponsors or donations.
Enthusiastically, we are supporting you from here, and we'll make sure and include all that contact information for sure and get
Great.
that out to the audience and then have them get it to their audiences. How about that?
Great. That's great. Thank you so much.
Yes. Good. Thank you. Thank you, all of you. Julie, I am going to forfeit this episode's break because I wanted to make sure and get that in. And I also want to, because clearly you are a wealth of just goodness and heart and knowledge and experience. So if I could ask you two more questions, you've shared your contact info, so we can just kind of make sure we include that. But we all crave great resources, and whether it's to help inspire, uplift, expand our minds, and as we've talked about, sometimes just make it through the day. Do you have a favorite book that you turn to, or resource, or
Yes.
anything that you'd want to share with the audience that helps you?
Yes, I actually want to share two books. A book I read last year that changed my way of thinking about people who have disabilities. It's called My Body Is Not a Prayer Request by Amy Kenny. And she goes into how we treat people within the church. So, and it could be any building of faith. How we treat people who are in a wheelchair with a walker, who have a disability that's seen or unseen, how we treat them and how we have treated them historically And she just breaks it all down. And that book is still changing my life of how I approach people and treat them within my community of faith. The other book I've just started, and it's so good already. I can't say I can give you anything about it other than it's really good. It's called Give and Take, and it's by Adam Grant, and it talks about the people that are givers and takers and those that are connectors. And I just challenge every leader or anyone that is wanting to do more in the community to read this book. I'm probably a third of the way in, and the thoughts that have already come to me about how I approach people and not putting people on a pedestal, not using people, but not even using that word so much, networking. I shy away from that word and just say, I just want to get to know people, and I want to be a giver in their life. And so he talks about that. And from a leadership standpoint and a business standpoint, who are you? Who are you in the community? And who should you strive to be? And it's just got a whole lot of goodness in it, but also a lot of wisdom. So those are two books I would really stress. I'm an audiobook person, so if it's an audiobook, I'm probably going to get it, and it makes sense for me to be listening to it, on my treadmill.
Awesome. Noted 1 and 2 here, and we will again. I'll pull those and include those also in the resource section, because it's all about sharing and giving, and again, passing it forward. So thank you for that. Your enthusiasm on that second one too was just, so I could tell you're really getting into it. That's great.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
It's really
love it.
good.
Okay, one more, if I can. I'm going to squeeze it in, and promising our audience intentional inspiration. Do you have a piece of key go-to advice or wisdom that resonates with you or that you'd like to pass on with us?
Yes, and this is new to me once I started writing the blog. My inspirational thought to most people is use your voice. And that is something I tell my students. Use your voice to communicate a song. But I tell, our blog community when we are talking about a meeting at the school, use your voice, speak up for your child. Or if I'm in the community, and working on a board trying to raise funds for an event or to support an initiative, my goal is use your voice. Don't be afraid to say out loud, this is what I'm doing. This is what I need. You want to come join me? So I think we all have a voice, and sometimes we just need the encouragement to use our voices to speak the things that are important to us, and also to gather people around us to join on that journey. So that's what I would say to most people. Don't be afraid. It might be scary, but use your voice.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you. Thank you. Julie, thank you for sharing your Silhouette of Success story with us. You are without a doubt a most brilliant light and inspiration for me in listening to you and getting to know you and connecting with you. And I know for our audience. So thank you for sharing your time, your story and opportunity with all of us. I absolutely have enjoyed our time together. So thank you.
I've enjoyed our time too, Amber. Thank you for asking me. It's been a pleasure to be with you.
All right. Until next time, and much success and luck to you.
Thank you. And to you.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Silhouettes of Success podcast. If you enjoyed the show, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on all the new episodes. We are here for you and with you. We encourage you to share this podcast on all your socials and pass on the light to help illuminate another silhouette of success. To find out the latest ways to inspire your heart, ignite your mind, and gain actionable insights, subscribe at thesilhouettesofsuccess.com or connect with us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Instagram. We're grateful that you've tuned in. Remember, you are exactly where you need to be, right here with us. This is the Amber Weitzer podcast, Silhouettes of Success.